Purnamudapyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. All those that are invisible are filled by Brahman. All those that are visible are also fully permeated by Brahman. The whole universe has come out of the whole Brahman, yet Brahman is still full, though the whole universe has come out of it. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are reading Shwetashwatara Upanishad, and we are in the chapter 3. We have read the verses, the Rishi declaring that I have realized the truth. Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam. I have experienced that grand, great, conscious entity, Purusha, great Purusha. Aditya Varnam, who's shining like sun, which is beyond all tamasha parastvat, beyond all tamas, darkness, ignorance. And tameva viditva, only knowing that, otimrittu, you can conquer mrittu, death. Eti, you arrive, achieve that deathless situation. And you try in another way to be immortal, nanna pantha. No, not another way is there to reach that immortality. So, this very grand statement that I have realized, and your Rishi is welcoming all of us. Yes, you also come. You can realize that truth. And I am known that truth, which is effulgent, will like the sun, and which removes all darkness and ignorance of this duality of miserable world. And knowing that only, here knowing that is a very important point. Knowing does not mean intellectual knowing, as we are now reading, it is intellectual knowledge. It will have misunderstanding and because it's still intellect is functioning. But when you do that beyond intellect, that means when you purify your mind and heart, then that revelation that will come, that will be the immortality. And there is no other way of bringing your money in your life, wealth in your life, prestige, name, education, high born condition, low born, poor, Brahmins, Hindu, Muslim, nothing question. You know that truth, and then you will be immortal. Now, Annapantha, there is no other. So this is the eternal message for all people in the whole world. That is a call for the universe. No? That is the Vedic wisdom is so broad. There is not a tinge of any teaching of difference and separation. And also think that reality, what will happen? Jasmat parang naha paramasti, that after which there is no higher. That is the highest. There is no higher than that. Nothing. Nasman na aniyo na jayosmin. Not there is something great. And anu is small. There is nothing smaller than that. Minute is the minutest of the minute, the greatest of the great. Bhikshaiva stabdha. It was like standing in silence, like a big banyan tree stands, unmoved, rooted in his own glory. Divi tishtati eko is stabdha. Stabdha means silent, calm, serene, peaceful, undisturbed, like a big banyan tree standing, windless situation, one without a second and immovable. Teno idam purnam purushena sarvam. And see that purushena, that consciousness, permeates everything, sarvam, idam, whatever you see, hear, taste, touch, the visible universe, conceptual universe, wherever you go, it permeates everywhere like space permeates everywhere. 10th verse, Tato Jatutarataram tadarupam anamayam yat etad viduhu amritaste bhavanti athetare dukkham eva pijanti tatu jaduttaratam tad arupam anamayam. That is that reality which is the far beyond this world, is the formless and free from misery. That is the state, that reality. They who know this, they become immortal. But all others have indeed to suffer misery alone. Those who are not following this path, they will have to go to the path of birth and death. And as Buddha says, dukkham, 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 everything is dukkham. Birth is dukkha, life is dukkha, death is dukkha, disease is dukkha. Ultimately, it brings dukkha. There cannot be anything else but that reality, uh, that all others have indeed to suffer. So that being which is far beyond this world, far beyond this world, and absolute cannot be any stretch or imagination be brought into relation with the world. World is so limited. And all conceptions of relations based on space, time, and causation is within the realm of Maya. That means it's beyond Maya. You cannot expect anything. And what is that? 11th verse. Sarvanano Shirogrivaha Sarvabhuto Guhashaya Sarvabhyapi Sabhagavangstam Tasmat Sarvagata Shivaha Sarvanano. Tasmat saw from that divine entity, divine Lord, Sarvabhyapi, who is all pervaded, Sarvagata, who is omnipresent everywhere, Shiva, that which is benevolent or that which is perfectly in state of peace. No? So it is Shiva is auspiciousness, that which is auspicious, all benevolent. Sarva Anana Shiragriva. He is actually Anana, face, Shira, head, Griva, neck. Everything, he permeates everything. Sarva Bhuta, and not only that, he is also dwelling in the heart of every being. So therefore, the divine Lord, being all pervading, being all omnipresent, being benevolent in all auspicious, dwells in the hearts of all beings and makes use of all faces, hands, necks in this world. So all the face, all the neck, all the physicality, it is He is doing every movement. We think that we are nodding our head, we are looking at this. It is not. It is He looking to it. There is that absolute Satchidananda self. So it is noteworthy that this mantra, speaking of divine immanence everywhere, that comes immediately after the previous one, which depicts the supreme and the absolute, far beyond all relations. So that is the state. It comes immediately, a divine immanence which is everywhere, which is the far beyond all duality or relations. The idea is that God is both transcendent and immanent. This beautiful synthesis of the connect conceptions of personal and impersonal, of transcendental and immanent, is the characteristic feature of this Upanishad. Very important point is that transcendental and immanent, both aspect is, that is the only reality, permeated. Anoruniyam mahato mahiyam atma sujanto nihito guhayam. So that same principle is said here, that the divine Lord, being it all pervading, being omnipresent, being all auspicious, dwells in the hearts of all beings. And also, it is He makes use of all faces, these faces. He uses all the faces. We use one face only, being limited, and He uses all the faces at a time. How is it that possible? This is called the Chidabhasa, no? You, me, these are called Chidabhasa. reflection of the consciousness. So, suppose you stand in a room and there are 1,000 mirrors, some concave, some convex of different aperture is different, and you stand in between. So, how many faces you see? One plus those 1,000. So, you are using this, you are using all. If you use your face munching something, all the faces will munch. Similarly, on absolute consciousness, that is called God, Lord, He is using all these faces as it were. It may be thought that you can ride only one car at a time, and God has billions and trillions and zillions of cars. This human car, animal car, God car, insect car, all these are different cars. And these cars are all driven by one Lord. He sits in all the cars at a time. That's why every car is in movement. We call seeing, hearing. We see, actually, in Vedantic term, it is only one. Seer is only one. So you can throw away all the mirrors. It matters little. Your own face will remain there. Atman will remain the same. Reflections may differ according to the mirror condition. But he enjoys, only one person enjoys to all the mirrors. Just to understand how that one enjoys in everything. This may help you to understand. And this in this creation, there is no end of creation. How many cells, how many bacteria, how many things in the simple body. And what question of the whole universe. So all is energized by the consciousness behind. And that is the driving force of all, as also that is the reality sitting in the heart, allowing us to understand the joys and suffering, pleasure and pain, all the life's experiences, only by that consciousness. So, say, therefore, because he is formless and all pervading, he can take any form and be present anywhere and everywhere according to the wish of the devotee. Benevolent means if he did not graciously dwell in the hearts of all beings and guide their senses, thoughts, and actions, it would not have been possible for man to realize him by his own unaided effort. Benevolent means God is always conscious, kind, and beneficial through suffering and through pleasure. He is taking, holding our hands to realize the truth. Rather, we learn from days of suffering rather than days of joy and fun. Because the merriment, the day of merriment, who remembers God? Who does need God? But when we are in difficulty, we are in problem, in any type of problem. So, through all experiences, good and bad, God is leading us to the. And if you have no experience of pleasure, then you said, "What is this life? Who can live for a moment if there is no joy in life?" But if joy follows joy, suffering is followed by joy. Then when suffering comes again, I got that joy, and this is the distinction. And that makes us again question. So life is an experience, and life is a great teacher. Those are aware of it, they move faster. They are not aware, they will be moving, but not it will take time. Ramakrishna said, Everyone will have hunger, but someone will have his appetite full in the morning, someone may be at 10 o'clock, someone may be noon, someone may be afternoon. Some people may not get a lunch whole day. eh? And some people may have lunch at 4 o'clock, some people 5. So spiritual hunger will be fulfilled. Some may be in early time, some may be little late, but everyone will be fed. Everyone's hunger will be satiated. We are all searching for that. So this is the verse that to all the Anana, Siro, Griva, Sarva Bhuta Guhasaya, sitting in the heart of all, Sarva Bhapi Sa Bhagavan, that Bhagavan, who is, because if you say why Bhagavan is coming, why not Brahman here? Brahman cannot do anything. Brahman becomes Bhagavan when? Brahman plus Maya is Bhagavan. Brahman plus cosmic ignorance, that is the creation comes from there. Before that, he is non-dual. There is no creator, no creation, no Bhagavan, no Jiva. Bhagavan is a term given because he is the ruler and controller of jivas. So where there is no jiva, where there is no creation, so where is the question of creator comes? Creator comes when creation comes. If there is no creation, then where is creator? That's why there is a Kali mother's song. Brahmando chilona jokhon, when there is no Brahmando, this creation. Mundamala kotha peli, where do you get your garland of skull? Then it is impossible. That time there is nothing, it is Shiva. It is all absolute consciousness. So all this creation comes when he becomes Bhagavan. So that Bhagavan is the Nirakara and with quality. That is the Judeo-Christian idea of God. And in our Indian tradition, we call Bhagavan or Ishvara. He controls, Ishan means controls. But Brahman cannot control anything. There is no controller, no controlled, no nothing to be controlled. So the question does not come there. So as soon as you come to creation, it is in the realm of Bhagavan or Ishvara. And that's why it is said, Ishvara Sarva Bhutana Siddhasya Arjuna Tishtati. Arjuna, Ishvara, the Lord God, that Nirakara, Saguna Brahman, who pervades everywhere, who is permeated in every being, he most palpably sitting in the heart. Because you know, whole body, where your feeling center is where? Your headache, felt where? Here. Your toe is heart, felt where? Your eye is blood, felt where? All feelings is sitting. That's why it is said it is the residence of God. That's why it is said, because the feeling center, all the centers of feeling and understanding. Understanding is intellect, but that all the soft feeling, heart feeling, joy, sorrow, suffering, it is a feeling center. That's why Ishvara Hriddhya. And here also, Sarvo Bhuto Guha Asayo. Guha means the cave. And the Sarva Bhuta means every created being, every being in the universe is in the Guha, in the cave of the Asa. It is holding in that, in the heart of all beings. Sarva Anana Siragriva. Sarva Anana, all eyes, we are seeing our eyes. It is robotic eyes. It does not see anything. If put out the energy line off, battery off, eyes don't see. It will not do anything. Drone is doing such wonderful work, no? But if the energy line is cut, your drone will not function anyway. It has the potential to do, train to do. So the people are doing all these things that I am doing. In a sense, nothing can be done by I, because it is only that consciousness, when added to the this robotic body, the robotic body appears to be lively, and we think that I am doing, I am seeing, I am hearing, I understand, I. So this is called the kacha ami, unripe I. And paka ami, who is that? It's God I. I'm nothing, oh Lord, you are everything, you are everything. I. It's petty I, petty I. Now, so we have to think that way, that it is, these are all mantras to use for more introspective idea, to think about them much deeper. Here the translation, did we read that? Anyhow, read me again. The faces, heads, and necks of all beings are His. He is in everybody's heart. He is everywhere and all pervasive. He is God. That is the self is supreme. This is why He is in every being. The self is the source of all that is good. When you think you are separate from the totality of existence, you suffer. We are now in the plane of body consciousness, so you think I am an individual and you are another. I have one form and you have different form. And because we see multiplicity like this, we have relationships of love and hate. Swami Vivekananda said that love and hate are the obverse and reverse of the same coin. We think we love someone, but the next moment our love may be replaced by hatred. Our love is only for a while. This often happens. We do not truly know how to love. It is only when we are able to go beyond the consciousness of the body and see that all are the same divine spirit that we can truly love. Then we can truly love. When we know we are one with everyone, that we are in every being, then we automatically love. The word Bhagavan here means who is the embodiment of all Vaishwarjas, all glories. Six Vaishwarjas and the embodiment of this is God. First Vaishwarja is the wealth, second is strength, third is fame or glory, fourth is beauty, fifth knowledge, and sixth renunciation. The Bhagavan, that Shiva is the embodiment of all that is good and auspicious. That is all in reality. Now, next verse 12. So, from 10 to 11, we got that the consciousness permeates everywhere, and you can meditate, and He's sitting in your heart, and you can try to think. But now it is eyes open. When eyes open, we look at the world. He's giving the direction that when you see Sarva, all the eyes, it is God is seeing through all the eyes. One God, no? All his head, neck, it is all the gods, not. So individual consciousness is pulled into the cosmic consciousness. And this thing is all auspicious. The Bhagavan is all pervaded. Now 12 verse. Mahan Prabhurvai Purushaha. Mahan Prabhurvai Purushaha. Satyasaiva Pravartaka. Satyasaisha Pravartaka. Sunirmalam imam prapti. Sunirmalam imam praptim. Ishano Jyotirakaya. Ishano Jyotirakaya. Mahan Prabhurvai Purushaha. Mahan Prabhurvai Purushaha. Satyasaisha Pravartaka. Satyasaisha Pravartaka. Sunirmalam imam prapti. Sunirmalam imam praptim Ishano Jyotirabhaya Ishano Jyotirabhaya. This is the 12th verse. Purusha, the self, Mahan Prabhu, is the mighty Lord of all. And it is certainly Ishana is the controller, it is Abhaya, imperishable, it is light itself, and it is Sunirmalam, extremely pure. And Imam Praptim, attainment of this is the intellect of beings. This is the self is indeed the mighty Lord, big self, not the small one. He is the imperishable light that controls everything. Yeah? It is this self is indeed the mighty Lord, and that self, mighty Lord, is the imperishable light that controls everything. That means there is a that he's shining, everything shines. Because he is inside, that's why whatever we can see to the light of that inner light. We think that that's the difference between Western science and Eastern philosophy. Western science says what? There is an object, there is rays of light, falls upon that, reflection, your rays coming to my eyeball, it's coming from outside and making a reflected image. Then that image is carried to the nerves, to the brain, and brain recognizes, like Google engine, he finds out what is what. But Vedanta says no, it is light coming from within, through the eyes, falling on the object, and is capturing one image, and then it takes back. So total difference. One is light external is the source, here light internal is the source. Internal light, that is the light coming out of your eyes and falling on the objects of the senses. And then you capture it and catch it and withdraw it back to your eyeball. These are all instruments and carrying to that source, then you can recognize the object. Light inside is the fundamental, or here light outside is fundamental. Actually, light internal is the truth. See, I close my eyes, I can see many things. It is not dependent on the external light. But external light is impossible. If it is dark room, you cannot see anything. Because that object has no light to reflect on your eyes. So it is more rational thought thinking. That is the light which shines in the heart of all, that is reflected in the world. So it is the light that controls everything. This light controls everything. If the inner light is not there, a dead person, his eyes are there, but his perception is not there. But so long that light is active, we can see, we can hear. The instrument becomes dysfunctional. The car remains the car, but it does not move. It does not act anyway. The physical body does not function anymore. So it is the inner light of everything. And that Bhagavan, that inner truth, guides the intellect of all beings. Satyasaiva pravartaka. Satya means here intellect. All beings so as to enable them to gain their extremely pure state of mukti. Sunirmalam evam prapti, which is Sunirmala. Nirmala means pure. Sunirmal means extremely pure, stainless. Sunirmalam imam praptim. They get this Ishano Jyotirabhaya. That Jyoti, that Ishana, that all controlling light which is inside. So Mahan Prahurvai Purusha. The self is indeed the mighty Lord. So the power comes from here to meditate that the self is the one all powerful and that light is here. Indeed, the mighty Lord who is seated in the heart. He is the imperishable light that controls everything. He guides the intellect of all beings so as to enable them to gain that extremely pure state of mind. So he guides, this light guides intellect of all beings. Everyone's intellect is functioning because of the internal light. You can think of Panchakosha, five koshas. The light of the self falls upon what? First, ego. Ego gets illumined. That light transmitted into intellect. Intellect gives lighted. That light falls on mind, mind becomes active. That light falls on the prana, and that light falls on the body. That's why body is still shining and all this. So this is the light, internal light. But that internal light is at the deepest depth. It illumines our understanding, it illumines our mind and emotions. It makes the body functional, and all the apparent activity of the body is done by that light. So he guides the intellect. That means who guides your intellect, my intellect? That self. One step we are missing. If you say ego, ego is controlling me. But ego is controlled by whom? By the light beyond the ego. So he guides the intellect of all beings so as to enable them to gain that extremely pure state of mukti. So this is only this guidance. What is the reason of this? To bring us back to our real self. This translation, Swami Lokeshwarananda, this great being is all pervasive and is all powerful. He also inspires the mind to attain the state of purity, that is self knowledge. He is the Supreme Lord, self luminous, and always it is the same. The Supreme Being is called here Pravartaka, the director, the inspirer. Who does it? He directs the sattva or intelligence or our buddhi. It is recognized that human beings are very intelligent beings. But from whom do they get this intelligence? From God, the Pravartaka. He inspires the intelligence to seek prapti, the attainment. That means this inner light, this consciousness, he is called the Pravartaka, who engages the mind to function, the attainment of that state. So Pravartaka, he inspires the intelligence to seek prapti, the attainment to the state, what we want to reach. Mind, actually, that's why we say Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Oh Lord, let our Dhi Buddhi be guided. Buddhi guided wrongly, we go to the world. Buddhi redirected and turn in the direction, one becomes saint. Saint and sinner, only how the mind goes in which direction. So the whole spiritual life is turning the mind to go inward. Bhagavan, the Pravartaka, inspires the intelligence to seek that which the state. There are many kinds of attainment, such as money, beauty, scholarship, etc. But here the Upanishad calls Sunirmalam Praptim. That means the pure and perfect state of attainment. There is no ignorance mixed with it. It is spiritual knowledge, spiritual enlightenment, transcendental experience. Only knowledge of your true self is Sunirmalam. What is Sunirmalam? Su means uh, Su means good, extremely uh, elevated, best. Su. Nirmala means stainless, pure. Sunirmalam means extremely pure, extremely pure, that buddhi. And your true Sunirmalam buddhi, this is what Nachiketa asked Jama in the Kathopanishad. Jama tried to tempt Nachiketa with money, power, long life, even the position of a god. But Nachiketa rejected everything. He said, all these are subhavaha marta, and it is perishable. They won't last long. I want that which is imperishable. So that is the strength needed. Buddhi Suddhi. What is the sign that we are making as progress in spiritual life? Mind is going not which direction it is going. Hmm. If our tendency will tell us where the mind is moving. Huh?
The spiritual things.
Yeah, it will be when mind will be Suddha, pure, it will not relish anything. Good food, good talk, uh, chutney, gossip, nothing will please them. They will be feeling uncomfortable to hear those things. Mind will go for God means it will go for spiritual thing only. You will feel as people feel really reactionary to certain things in the world. So all things will be such reaction will come. It does not please me. That's the song came, Buddha. Judai techai kuthai judai. I want to get solace and peace. Where shall I get that? Again and again I'm born and again I'm coming. How much I weep and cry, how much I smile and make fun. Where do I go? I do not know. Who is there? Oh Lord God, show me the light. So that is this song. And Swamiji used to sing that song to Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna used to go to Samadhi. This song, see. So Judai, they say. So that call comes, and that time nothing suits. Nothing of the world, money, wealth, fun, joy, food, shelter, praise, name, fame, all appears to be insipid, meaningless, worthless. So that is the sign that spiritual progress is happening. And how much degradation is happening? It can be understood. How much I am releasing more other things than God. How much time I am spending in unnecessary things. Of course, life has a duty and responsibility. That is to be done. But rest of the time, how much I am spending in which way, that is very important. That indicates my tendency of the mind. And therefore, we have to catch our mind and hold it and to direct it towards that eternal truth. And in time comes when you will be so overwhelmed that you don't have any intention of any other thing. Ramakrishna used to say, he used to cry, he used to climb in the roof of the music tower and used to sing, oh my child, come, come, I am tired. I am getting burned by talking about the world and worldliness with the worldly minded people. So I'm tired of it. So, so just the opposite. People are so happy with talking about everything but God. But here is the example. God can be the criterion. Without God, he is crying. I cannot bear the mundane talks, worldly talks. So that is the sign of spirituality, spiritual progress. So all these subhav, and how will you come? Because you know, whatever you attain, whatever you achieve, they are all subhav. It will be only staying for a temporary period, only for few days. King becomes king for few years. Uh, the minister becomes minister for few years. No, senator becomes senator for few years. And what is the end result? End result, who cares? You are a senator, who cares? You may think that you are doing good to the same people of that. So long you are in power, all will be running after you to get their interest fulfilled. But when your power is gone, no one will look at you. You're the same person. It's all understanding this. We are not to hate anyone, but to understand that who is my own, whom I am relinquishing, and whom I am accepting as my friend. I am accepting those who are not my friend, but I am just ignoring who is my eternal friend. Rabindranath Tagore has a song, Chira Sakha, oh my eternal friend, Shere Jiona, don't leave me, O Lord. You are my eternal friend. Actually, all the time, we as a breath, we are breathing. We believe in God or not, but God is there because I am breathing. But I do not think, I do not have any time to look at that side. But we are looking at the outside and thanking everyone. Thanking everyone is good. More thanking is necessary to that reality for which I am sustained. I am breathing, I am seeing, I am understanding.
That's why we have Thanksgiving.
Hmm?
Thanksgiving.
That's why Thanksgiving. Hmm. So the perishable thing in the world, they won't last long. That's why Nachiketa said, I want that which is imperishable. And what is that? What is the imperishable means? The knowledge of the self, knowledge that will give perfection, that will tell me who am I. Only that is Abhaya. Abhaya? Abhaya. That is Abhaya. Abhaya means imperishable, unending. It cannot be destroyed. Now is another verse 13. Krishna 1. Okay, I just read that verse. We'll explain later on. Angushtamatra Purushantaratma Angushtamatra Purusha Antaratma Sada Jananam Hridaya Sannivishta Hridaya Sannivishta Hridamanisha Hridamanisha Manasha Viklipto Manasha Aviklipto Jayetad Viduhu Jayetad Viduhu Amritaste Bhavanti Amritaste Bhavanti Angushtamatra Angushtamatra Purushantaratma Purushantaratma Sada Jananam Hridaya Sannivishta Hridaya Sannivishta Hrida Manvisha Hrida Manisha Manasha Viklipto Jayetad Viduhu Amritaste Bhavanti Angushtamatra, like a thumb. Not big, very like a thumb. Feel like they're small as like a thumb. Purushantaratma, that self which feels that consciousness we are talking, concentratedly it lives in that small space like a thumb. Antaratma, the innermost being. Purusha Antaratma. Sada Jananam Hridaya Sannivishta. Sada means all the time. That reality is residing, Sat Nivishta, it's residing or staying in that Hridaya, in the heart. And now it is present there. But Manisha, that means the bestower of knowledge, the self, Hrida, by the consciousness which is the heart and seen in various fluctuations of mind. Manasha, by the pure mind, Aviklipto is manifest. So it's a small Angushtamatra. It's like a small, like a thumb, as a thumb. Yet, Purushantaratma Sada Jananam Hridaya Sannivishta. That Purusha, that truth, that is Satchidananda, fills the universe. He is in the heart of all as their innermost being. He is the source of knowledge. And he expresses himself as the various fluctuations of mind. Our mind fluctuates, no? How can it fluctuate unless there is the energy behind it? Hmm? So it is that consciousness. That means even the fluctuation of the mind, that is also that animated by that consciousness. Calmness, that is also animated by that Satchidananda self. That's including the right decisions of the mind makes when it is pure. The same, he expresses himself in the various fluctuations of the mind, including also when you make a right decision. The Vidu of this. Etat Vidu, that who knows this, those who know this, they become immortal. So in many places we find that the self described as the Angushtamatra, meaning the size of a tongue. We should not take this term too literally. The self is not physical entity that we can describe as small or as big. When we meditate, however, we can think of the self as residing within our heart. It is that he manifests the most, as if the mind is within the heart. Mind, man manasha, he manifests himself through the mind. Suppose you have a light burning in your room. If I am standing outside, how do I know there is a light burning within? If a window is open or if there are slits in the shutters, I can then see the light. Similarly, Brahman is within us, and the mind is like a window, an opening. Our sense organs also are opening through which Brahman reveals himself. But he manifests himself especially through the mind. That's why all emphasis is given to mind, mind, mind. Purify the mind. Chitta Shuddhi. In spiritual life, purification of mind is the most important thing emphasized. So what you do, all our sadhana is to purify the mind. Karma yoga. What is the purpose of karma yoga? Karma yoga will be purifying our mind, which is normal mind, do karma and get entangled. But nishkama karma will purify the chitta. Chitta means not only mind. Your mind will think right, godly thought. Mind, intellect will also understand the thing rightly. Ego will be purified, humbled ego. And memory will also be about God, divine. So everywhere there will be the manifestation of purity. So this can be meditated also. Angustamatra Purusho Antaratma. Antaratma, innermost self, is the Purusha, that consciousness, is Angustamatra in the heart. Not in the heart means just to concentrate the mind focused. That's why they are indicating like a heart, small as such. But it permeates everywhere. As I said, Ramakrishna's example, the governor house means governor is the governor of the state. But you want to find him, where do you find? You have to go to the governor house. So governor house is the heart, who governs the whole universe. That conscious entity is more palpably experienced here. That's why our gurus teach us meditate in the heart, the space of the heart, and feel that there is a presence of the divine. and he's in the lotus, and etc. etc. So to that, why it starts that way. After starting that way and concentrating every day, meditating, when it becomes tangible, then you see that it's not only here, then it is everywhere. And then vision opens up. It is the Upanishad. All saints and sages say the same thing. Spiritual realization is experienced within the heart. It is not an objective experience. Sometimes I see outside myself, yet at the same, it is a real, as if I am looking at something outside. This is why they call Hasta Amalaka, holding a fruit in the palm of your hand. If I am holding a fruit in the palm of my hand, I know I have in my hand. I feel it. I don't have to have any proof of it. No one can say, oh, you are just imagining. Similarly, although spiritual realization is experienced within the heart, you cannot dismiss it as imagination at the beginning. At the beginning, it is all imagination, it type thing. You know it is real. How do others know it is real? When an individual has the kind of experience, he is at once transformed. He holds his whole personality, his character, all changes. The experience is revealed through his movements, the way he speaks, his actions, just as the light burning inside a room shines through the windows or through the openings of the shutters. Even when Sri Ramakrishna was dying of throat cancer, his face glowed with joy and peace. And some people came to see him, began to think that he was not really suffering. They thought he was only pretending to be ill for some reason or other. If he was in pain, his face should certainly have shown it, they thought. But he was always joyful. His joy was so deep that the pain in his body was insignificant. Okay. We'll read it again, verse number 13. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sri Ram Krishnarpanam Astu. So tomorrow we'll have our gospel class at 7:30, and I will be there to read that gospel. Here is a question: when I suffer or enjoy, then does that which I am, does that also suffer and enjoy along with me? If you say I suffer means a body mind complex, I, as I am. Yes, I suffer because I have the body identity. But those who are realized soul, no, they cannot, they don't suffer, their body suffers. I am now thinking I am the body. But a realized mm, person knows it is my garment. Yeah, if the garment is torn, okay, it is torn, but what does to me? I'm quite okay. So they don't bother about that. That's why we read the last example of Sri Ramakrishna. So the Atman cannot suffer. There is no question of suffering. Then what is the use of studying all these things? If we want to ultimately we get to the point where there is still suffering, and that's called God realization. No. When God realization comes, that means you are not the body. So whatever happening in the body, it's happening to the body. That must be acknowledged. You say my dress is torn or spoiled. So you discard that dress. But nothing happened to you. So that is the question, that not all this pain and suffering is felt in the body so long I have my identity. I give the example again and again. When you go to surgery and doctor does 5 hours of surgery on the body, and it is happening in your body. But you don't know anything. How? Why don't you know it? Because it is your body. Had it been you one with that, then you feel the body pain. But when it's off from the body by medicinal effect, then you don't identify there. So by spiritual practice, if you can train the mind to withdraw from the body and put it to God, yes, body will do its own operation. What is the matter? Sri Ramakrishna knows cancer. It is happening in the body. He knows perfectly. Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda, we were reading that he was whole night he was asthmatic condition, could not breathe. Those days there was no additional oxygen cylinder or anything available. What a painful whole night. The attendants were watching that and they're feeling so much pain. But morning, two, three pillows are in the front and back. He's just supporting himself, sitting sometimes. He cannot lie down. Whole night went up like that. And somebody came in the morning, asked, Maharaj, how are you feeling? I'm okay. Then the attendant said that, no, Swami, your whole night you passed through such a situation. Oh, you're talking about the body? Yes, body was suffering. So they can make it quite clear distinction. It is the body and it is me. I am not the body. So I can separate out. They have the power to do that. Keep the mind in that lofty level. So what is going through the body? Body will suffer. So long you will have expression, ooh, no, but untouched by those things.
Even in the deep sleep, we don't suffer.
Yeah. Deep sleep we have no experience at all. On one experience we find there is something. Yes, there is experience because there is still separation. It is not merging into the God, into Brahman. Therefore, we find joy. Everyone feels peace that time, and when he comes out, you say, I slept so deep yesterday. Huh? And it is always pleasing for everyone. Second question, why is this whole spiritual progress so coercive? If it did not do spiritual thing, then I am bound to suffer. It is like God holding me at gunpoint. Do it or else. Why so? No, no, this is the way of life. God is not doing anything. God is going to say, enjoy. And that's why he created this duality, no? But it is like the mom creates some toys and gives it to the baby. Ma knows that baby is my baby. But he wants to play with the baby. So you play with the toys. So that is the purpose it is given to understand. Toy is not true. Your mom is true. So similarly, we are playing with the toys of life in every phase of our life. One toy, one as the age moves on. Yeah? And now, when you find that it is all toys, I don't care for those. I want to go to my mom. That's a different thing. Another question, does a humble ego mean not standing up for oneself? Standing for oneself may mean that the ego is acting out. Where is the balance? That balance we have to think in ourselves. We should have to stand up, not someone taking advantage of me. If you don't stand up, then you will be troubled. So for that purpose, and that ego is necessary. That's called good ego, to protect. So not to harm anyone, but to protect ourselves, we have something Ramakrishna said to hiss and not to bite. That snake story. No? It's a- so to feel that it is good to react in those areas just for protection. Yes, that's all. Thank you all. Yes.
I had a question.
Okay. After you.
It's actually about the earlier class. So you said that people perform great austerities and the gods get worried. Right? And when we read in the Puranas and such, it'll say that they performed great austerities and the gods were pleased, so they offered them a boon. But is it also out of fear that the gods offer people boons to distract them?
Last question is what?
They offer a boon, not maybe not just because they're happy with the austerity, but also because out of fear.
Oh no,
To
they
distract
are
them from
asking for.
austerity.
The boon is given by the Lord. He can give you mukti, he can give you bhogam. But what you choose, you ask, many people ask, okay, Chandi, the Devi Bhagavat, Devi Mahatma, two of them, one asked for kingdom, and mother appeared, Mukhi, my child, you will get kingdom, you will be the king. Another said, I have seen you, I don't want anything.
No, his question is because in the afternoon you said that God goddesses are sometimes scared when you are doing the austerity that your position you may take their position. So then they can come to give you the boon because they are out of fear they are granting
That's
the boon,
true.
not because of they are
That's
happy
true.
with your austerity.
That's true. If he that particular aspect of the divine wants, that is my position is getting and to go away. So naturally tease him in such a way, his mind does not
Continue with
go.
austerity.
But
Just wanted to talk about people who are like chronic overthinkers. And it's not something in their nature, it's just like their neurological conditioning is pretty much like they always keep on thinking and there are random thoughts coming to their head all the time. Is there realistically a way to like stop that?
yeah, you can't counter thought. Thought is coming. Before the thought comes, if we practice our japa or think some noble thought, higher thought, it will be counteracting that thought.
Okay, so like let's say if you're a creative, if you're a
Huh?
writer, for example, a creative person, for whom like overthinking is just a part of the process. It could be something like focusing on the creative aspect rather than the distractions or like the part that you're overthinking about, which should not be thought about that much.
No, you think about your creative aspect and write it and offer it to God. That will count. All the other thoughts will be barred by that. You can use your talent, whatever way it comes. But if it is connected with God and doing for God, these ideas come. Then the other ideas of the after effect of its failure and success and this and that will
Yeah.
not bother.
Thank you.
Okay. So see you tomorrow again, 7:30. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.